think Aziz Ansari talks about it in his like his latest his comedy special, talking about like in the future, like it's quite possible that we're gonna talk to them and be like kids would be like, wait, I don't understand. Like people just like slept on the streets and then other people just like walked by them. Like, isn't that fucking nuts? Like, if you really think about it, like, there are people like down there that are like don't have a place to live, and I have a second bedroom. You know, it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't want crazy people in my house.
Right.
And,
it's like, what are you gonna do?
So there's that, and I fucking earned this. Like, you know.
What's your name?
My name's Nathan Carden.
And how old are you?
I'm 36 years old. 36 and a half. As of 2 days ago.
Okay, Nathan. So who are you on a soul level?
Who am I on a soul level? I don't even know how to answer that. Like, who is my soul?
Yeah, like under all of the stuff that society says matters. Who's Nathan?
I am a giver. I would say that I'm a giver. I am a creative. I am like deeply connected, and like always questioning, like very curious, to a point where it's like I want to like understand like mechanism and like how things work, and like which is like how I got into like I lead transformational work, and so like that's how I got into that, was because like I just wanted to like know, like I want to take it apart and like figure it out, and like, the why of everything. I'm a father to that dog, Willie. Stop it. And I had another one. I don't know what the other one was. I mean, I would say like I'm an adventurer. But it comes out of like, I would say like I'm deeply curious and connected, and like a definite like a daydreamer, like lifelong daydreamer.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you 3 categories.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me what means the most to you and what means the least to you. And you can switch this stuff around however you want to. And then I want you to say like why the things.
Okay.
So the first category is love, sex, relationships. The next category is society, culture, politics. And the third is spirituality and or religion, because those two don't go hand in hand for everyone. So for you, what takes the front seat in your life?
So those are the 3 categories?
Yeah, and then so you can break them up like as 8, or you can just say this category is first.
Can I see them written down?
I didn't write them, but...
Oh, you just know them? That's like a lot of categories.
I've done this like so many times.
Okay.
But so love, sex, relationships, society, culture, politics, spirituality, and religion.
Okay, so those are the 3 categories that I'm going to say.
Yes.
Or is it each category gets like love, sex, relationships? Which one's more important, which one isn't? Or is it love, sex, relationships as a category?
Yeah, that's just like I grouped them
Society.
together. But you can split them apart if you think love and sex don't go together. If you just want to talk about platonic relationships, so then like sex wouldn't be in that. Like, you know.
Okay.
You can break it up however you want to.
Okay. And then, so it's society, culture,
politics.
And
then the last is spirituality and or religion.
Okay. So I think that's the way that I would define these. I would define them in the order of, I think that spirituality, and I'm just going to say spirituality, I'm not religious at all.
Okay.
I think religion actually belongs in society, culture, and politics.
Okay.
Because religion is like a belief system, but it's spirituality for me is the most important, and I feel like that's self, like capital SELF. And then like medium important would be like love, sex, and relationships, which would be like interpersonal, like I live with my boyfriend, my best friend and I, like these kind of things. And my least favorite, and the thing I'm least interested in, is society, culture, and politics, because I think that people as a group we're a very dangerous species. And I hate mob mentality. I hate like when people stop, like use group to like stop fucking thinking, you know, like it's like, oh, like I hate trends. I hate all of that makes. Yeah, I'm actually like, and in the way like I feel like in this when I'm speaking about it, like I've like I'm the most adverse to culture and politics, because I think it's like the most dangerous, and I would put religion in there too. And love and sex I think is very important, but I think like knowing oneself is the most important thing. Like how your own conversations with yourself, can you be with yourself, can you like what do you like. I think it's most important for people to know themselves and like actually like be critical about like what do I actually believe in, do I actually like this.
Yeah,
you know, if you can wait, like what I mean, like when people say like I'm woke, like I mean it's like you actually like think about things, you know.
Yeah,
like it's just weird because there's these things called like agreement realities, and there's things that like we are okay with, and I think Aziz Ansari talks about it in his like his latest his comedy special, talking about like in the future, like it's quite possible that we're gonna talk to them and be like kids would be like, wait, I don't understand, like people just like slept on the streets and then other people just like walked by them. Like, isn't that fucking nuts? Like, if you really think about it, like, there are people like down there that are like don't have a place to live, and I have a second bedroom. You know, it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't want crazy people in my house.
Right.
And,
it's
you know,
like, what are you gonna do?
So there's that, and I fucking earned this. Like, you know. But like, why do I need that?
Yeah.
Like, why do I need a second bedroom? Like, yes, it's nice to have a place to have guests or whatever, but also society says that is like me moving up. You know, like I'm keeping up with the Joneses. I have a spare bedroom and like a formal dining room, like a lot. But like, that's where I think like, so if you're looking at like where you're most on autopilot, I would say would be like in politics, society, religion, especially. And it's like where people are like the most thoughtless, even though it's like the most critical because it's like the rules of society. And then love and sex and relationship, yeah, they're all kind of the same for me.
Okay.
And like sort of medium, like I can go, I don't know, like I'm like an extroverted introvert, so like I like to spend time alone, and I do like crave attention from other people.
Yeah,
but
I
also,
feel that.
I don't know, but I think that like, yeah, like spirituality, which is like, what do I actually want to believe in, like as a choice, versus like, you know, an inherited truth. I think that that's the most important.
What does your spiritual practice look like? I mean, I know you talked about you do transformative work, and
I wouldn't even say that that's spiritual. Like that for me is like mechanical.
Okay.
I am, however, like in 2019 has been sort of this like return to this human being and like being like just brazenly like myself.
Yeah.
Which is weird because like, you know, like I grew up in a really magical place. I grew up in Cambridge, California, which is like a very small town, and it's very witchy. And yeah, there's like lots of spiritual, like it's just kind of a witchy, weird place. Like it looks witchy, like it's like foggy all the time, and but it's a coastal town, and so like it's very picturesque in that way, cinematic.
Yeah.
And I grew up like wandering around in the woods and like and pretending, you know, like not even pretending, but like really like actually believing that, you know, the fairies existed and that like there's power in stones and things like that. And I've gotten back into that, and I know that that's a kind of like a societal thing. Like I feel like crystals are super in right now, but I've been into crystals like forever.
Yeah.
I'm like OG into that.
Yeah.
But I would say that like commune with nature is like would be like my own spirituality, like where, you know, like I would say that like I'm ambivalent on a higher power. Like not ambivalent, what's the word I'm looking for? Agnostic.
Okay.
And like it's not my place to know, like if there's a greater creator or whatever, but I do believe in energies. Like you know, that there's certainly like people can pick up on things, and there's energies and vibrations, and you know, I'm definitely like empathic, and like, you know, I'm like, if there's like shitty energy in the room, like I can feel it, and like I'll have, I mean, I'm a big enough person to like ask people to excuse themselves, like if they're like in my home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like your friend like isn't really the vibe. Like, can you have them leave? Like, I have no problem with that because there's 7.8 billion people on the planet, and I don't have to like everybody.
Right.
But that's definitely like part of the like my spirituality would be like commune with nature and like sort of like, you know, like investing in like in yourself. I'm taking this course called the Wisdom Course, which is like all about like being an adult and like looking at like, which is pretty cool when you're like actually like, I'm a fucking adult. Like I don't have to like this. I don't have to do this. Unsubscribe. Bye. Like, you know, I don't have to wear this. I don't have to do anything. I just gonna be me.
Yeah.
So it's been a whole year of like really like looking at like what makes me happy. What do I actually want to be doing? And like literally cutting the fat of the things that don't serve me, which has been really nice. And which gives you a lot more power when it like comes to things that like, you know, like I'm super invested like in this fucking impeachment right now. Like I'm like it's got a lot of my attention because it's important.
Yeah.
Like what people know what's actually happening. But and then the other part of it is like I'm an avid yogi. I take a lot of yoga.
Yes.
Love yoga. But like also I don't know, it's like it's been in this like possibility of like being an adult, like where like not everybody has to like me. I don't care anymore.
Right.
And like so like I feel very like grounded and wise, and I like my yoga practice because it's like it's an exercise and like letting my brain wander and like.
Do you do it at home or do you always go to a class or?
I would like to say that I do it at home. I don't. I don't know if you've ever seen videos of people trying to do yoga with dogs. It doesn't work. He's like up in my face.
Yeah.
I go to a studio.
Okay.
And I've got a couple of teachers that I follow that I love. I take with Ari. I'm in Ari's army. She's like hashtag like not for everyone, which is amazing. Like I've seen her like just kick people out of the class because it's like, listen, like you're not the vibe and you're not doing this, so you've got to go. And I'm like so here for that.
Yeah.
Like an aggressive, like spiritual like human being. And then I do Brett LaFoon's class, and he's incredible. And then Emily Purse is also incredible, but I don't know if I said her last name right. It's PRZ.
I'm gonna get those one night before I leave. Again.
They're wonderful. They all teach at Equinox, which like that's a whole drama in itself, but I support who they hired. So
right. Okay. So as far as politics, because I know you said that that's not like your thing, but you are keeping up. You know about the impeachment, like you know what's going on. So you voted and you're gonna vote. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like politics, but I'm not like. I participate in politics. I just don't like. I don't know. I just think that people like. I'm a little bit of a like an anarchist in that way. Like I think that people could govern themselves in a way.
Yeah.
I don't believe in borders. You know, I would like to be like. There are other countries that I think are doing much better, and while they're not as successful, I don't care. I would rather live in Canada at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't need to be first at anything. That part of me is dead. So. I would love to live in Finland.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, I've never even thought about
Right, wouldn't it be like so chic?
What? Yes,
just
actually.
Drive a Volvo and like hang out in Finland. Like a big sweater.
Yeah, I love a good sweater.
Yeah, we don't get to wear them here at all.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because I got here and last night it was cold and I was like, I left all my sweaters at home.
Oh, no,
thinking it was
like,
gonna be.
No, it'll be like 90 today. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'm gonna get you to draw.
Okay.
And I want you to pick colors that represent you as a person, the things that make you happy, the things that remind you of other things, just any color that like speaks to you. And then I want you to like let everyone know why you pick the colors that you pick.
Okay. Okay. So I do this for a living, which is great.
Okay.
I love a marigold. Is this?
They're not named.
That's a bummer. But I love this.
You can name it yourself.
Shade. I feel like these are not the same. I don't know. Look, I'm an influencer.
One is a little lighter, like a teeny bit.
I like the lighter one. I don't know. I love marigold. I feel like it's like an Indian summer color. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I just feel like I love there's things that I love. Okay, wait. So there's like, this is gonna be counterintuitive because I'll pick these two colors because there's like weather-wise, there's two things that I like. I love sunset.
Okay.
You know, like I like dusk and sunset, but I like things changing into like mysterious, like darker,
like ominous things.
Yeah, so it's like I love it, like a good sunset, like, and then the mystery of like what holds the night, you know. And I also love it when like the weather gets shitty.
Huh.
My least favorite weather is like clouds, like the sun breaking through clouds. I fucking hate that. It's like the worst. But my favorite is like a perfect day, and then all of a sudden like the weather shifts or like the fog comes in, and you're like, oh shit, like something's happening here. Like anytime in a movie, it's like somebody can control the weather and they're evil and like it's all foggy, or if like I was an X-Men, I'd want to be Storm, like all that. Like, so I love like, or like, you know, like storms are brewing, and I love fog and all that. So like I said, like I grew up in a witchy place, which is very foggy. So I love gray. I love marigold, which I like would be like the setting sun. And then I like blue. I grew up on the ocean. I was a beach lifeguard for years. I taught surf camp. I'm happiest in the water. Yeah, it's like being in the water is like my second home. So like my spot like in the summer like is like in the pool with a drink in my hand. Like while everyone's like out sunbathing or doing whatever, I'm just in it. Like, or like on a float. Like I love being in the water. Water's definitely like something that like revitalizes me. I'm a really good swimmer. Little brag there. But like I'm like not even like a really good, but like an incredibly competent swimmer. Confident, competent. I'm more comfortable. Like when I was a beach guard, like you're like encouraged to like paddle out and like go get people. If the weather was crazy or the waves were crazy, I'm more confident swimming. So I would rather just like be out there and like be underwater. So we've got water, we've got fog, we've got setting sun. Am I limited?
No, you can pick as many as you want.
Because I don't know what I'm going to draw, and I feel like I don't want to like...
No one ever does, really, so it's fine.
Okay, good.
Just comes to you as you.
Yeah, I'm going to pick these cute greens. I love nature, forests. This would be like explain like a perfect day for me, honestly. It'd be like coastal forest, like at sundown, where I like been in the water all day, and then like the fog rolls in and it gets like real witchy.
That's like a whole story in itself.
It's a whole color story. And I'll put this purple on there.
Okay.
Just because we love amethyst. You know?
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna get you to draw whatever you'd like. No pressure, no pressure. Just something to do with your hands while I ask you these questions.
Okay, good.
Okay, so first question. What makes you the most upset? Like what really pisses you off?
God. Where do I start? What makes me the most upset? I would say oh God. I think it's like when people like can't see past their own nose. Like when people are just like, I would call it being selfish, and people don't really oftentimes know how selfish they are. Like selfish and like manipulative. And especially when people are like emotionally manipulative and don't realize that they're doing it. I can't fucking stand it when people get upset and manipulate people. Like, oh, you're crying again. Like, no. I'm not gonna like stop. I'm not gonna back down. I'm not gonna do this. Like, I get you're upset, but like you're not gonna manipulate me that way. Like I get real, like selfish people, like it gets real like under my skin, especially when they don't know it. Yeah. Generally like people like, if you're being truly selfish, like you're not thinking about anyone but yourself. Like I had this employee that I just had to let go, and he was like always slow moving. And I was like, do you get you are a cog in a machine that like the slower you go, the less we get done as a whole. Yeah. Like I asked him like to go to the truck to go get something. It took him a half an hour to come back. It is a 1 minute walk at best. I was like, this should have taken you 2 minutes. And you took a half an hour. What the fuck were you doing? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, this is your last day.
Goodbye.
I know, right?
Okay. So what makes you really excited? Like what makes you most happy?
My first thought is like when people listen to me. When things like go to plan, I think I'm really planny. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes total sense.
You know, like when things are just like going the way that they're supposed to go. And like, cause generally it's like they're going the way that I wanted them to go. It's like, it's all working out. People are like, I like reliable things and people. Like, I just like things to operate the way that they're supposed to operate.
Yeah.
And that includes people. You know?
What's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Okay.
I'm an Aries. Scorpio rising.
Oh, okay.
She's nuts.
I'm Scorpio rising too. That's funny.
Yeah. What saves me apparently is Gemini moon. I don't really know what that means, but like when I say like, who was I working with? I was working not Stacey Dash. She's crazy. I was working with who played Brenda in Scary Movie. She's so funny. Rebecca Hall, I want to say.
Yes. Regina Hall.
Regina Hall, right? So Regina Hall is very into like zodiac, and she just looked at me and she's like, "Are you an Aries?" I was like, "Yes," and she's like, "But what kind?" And she was like feeling me out, and I was like, "I'm Scorpio rising," and she was like, "You're fucking nuts." I was like, "No, I'm not, I swear." And I was like, "Oh, you're such a personal hero of mine, and I like you so much more for this, like the fact that you like know all this." And then she was like, "What's your moon?" I was like, "Gemini." She was like, "Okay." She's like, "I was really concerned about you for a second." I was like, "I don't know what that means, but I appreciate that you said that." She's amazing. She's so fucking cool.
Okay. Cool. So, what are you most afraid of?
Oh God, growing old. Like full on Peter Pan. I have a giant Peter Pan tattoo on my arm. And I have like another one here that it's like second start of the right and starting until morning. I got this the day before I turned 20. And that was a big deal because I was like, like loss of innocence is the trope in like films and movies that like gets to me. And it's not getting old, like my body getting old, it's my mind getting old. Like people getting set in their ways. And when I turned, like I got this tattoo right before I turned 30. And it was a big deal for me to do that because it was like, at that point in time, I would have been existing under like, Neverland is like second start of the right and straight until morning, and then there's a song and it's so easy. It is not the story at all. The story is like that this was a lie. Like it was like how Peter seduced Wendy into going. He was like, there's mermaids and this, and it's like so easy. It's just the second start of the right and you go. There's a whole chapter that Disney cuts out, and it's called I think it's called like The Journey or something like that. But there's this drawing. This is the one illustration. It's called Let Him Keep Who Can. And it's about the journey to Neverland being like fucking impossible. So like they're flying and like they fly all through the night, and then they're over like the ocean, and Wendy's starting to get really concerned because the boys are so tired that they're falling asleep and they're dropping. Like so like they're about to die, and Peter's laughing and she's like at her wit's end, and she's like, oh my God, like what are we gonna do? Like I've got to now take care of like my brothers and this guy, and like Peter's like then forgotten who they are. Like he's like, it's all a big game for her, and she realized that he full on lied to her about how to get to and so she's like, well, what do we do? So she creates all these coping mechanisms to do this, where it's like there's this game where they like have to like steal food from birds, and then the birds steal the food back and whatever, but it keeps the boys awake, and it's a way to feed them. But she's like processing this whole thing where she was lied to. It was like this whole thing where she's like, it's not easy, and like, but the way you find Neverland is that you just have to fly true. You fly in a straight line, and like almost, and Neverland finds you. So you just forge a path and just like, okay, I'm just gonna go straight. And she goes over the ocean, and then at some point in time, there's like these golden arrows that like end up like essentially like everything kind of like finds you and you align, and then Neverland appears. So like when I read that, I was like sobbing. I was like, oh my God, because like I had been tricked. That I was like, oh, it's so easy. Like really, this minute, like it really is like this whole like if you're going to like stay young or if you're going to achieve your goals, like you have to like just forge ahead, just go for it. And there's and life will like give you challenges, but like if you keep going, you will find like essentially Neverland, where you don't grow older, and life is an adventure and all this other stuff. So I don't know, it's very interesting that my path with that story, how that kind of came about. But
oh my God, imagine if Disney would have kept that in.
It's so important.
And how deeply we would have had to think as children about. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, and the end of that book, oh my God, I was just like, I was like listening to it on tape, and I was sobbing so hard that I had to pull off the road because I was like, just hysterical.
Oh my God. Let's see, make a face that that explains you, like if you were a facial expression.
If I was a facial expression, oh God, it would probably be like.
What does that mean?
I'm just like a deeply annoyed human being. in a way. I'm just like everything is upsetting. Everyone is a disappointment.
Oh my God.
And the unfortunate thing is like I fucking see everything.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's weird, like I just kind of wish like sometimes I wasn't like, it's you know, like being smart is a blessing and a curse, and a lot of the time it's like I'm like I like you're like it's like when you're like at the airport and you're just like watching people like be so fucking upset with somebody who's like just doing their job, and like everything like these people like it's everything is an imposition, and like how entitled everyone is, and like and I see all of it, and I'm always questioning like am I like that, like am I like, so it's probably like this, and then like a like just internal panic of like I don't know what I'm doing, like how is this life, how is this it, like how like I can't believe that this is like the world we live in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explain to me what social media is to you.
Ugh. Just kidding. Social media is terrible. I think that like it's sort of like something that we didn't need. It's a want that we didn't know that we had, and now that we have it, I think that we're not responsible enough for it. I am not responsible enough for it. I use social media to exacerbate the things that I hate most about myself. You know, it's like, how do you know that you're out of shape? Well, like, I know that I'm out of shape because I follow these fucking fitness junkies, like, that whose job it is to work out, or their genetics are, like, in place. And then I, like, make it worse by, like, gawking at them.
Yeah.
You know? I think that social media is, like, it's an experiment that I think has run its course.
Right.
And, like, I mean, it definitely has its, like, there's great things about it. Like, I love, like, the whole thing about it, like, and if we're looking at it, like, holistically, I do love the algorithms. I like how something is, like, they've written programs to, like, to help me find things that I like and more of, which sometimes is awful, you know, if I'm looking at, like, all of a sudden it's, like, my feed is all, it's like, the Explore page is all, like, fitness people, or sometimes it's all, like, shit that I actually want to see, like, you know, like, my yoga practice is so much better because of social media. Being able to find people, like, with similar interests. Like, I love that. Like, I follow this guy named Pioneer Polly. And he's, like, this fucking weirdo who has, like, honest to God vampire teeth. And I think they're really his. But they're just, like, he needs braces real bad. Polly, I love you. But he's, like, a prospector. And he lives in Canada. And he just, like, goes digging for gold. And he's, like, super nice. And, like, I feel like he's a real person who's like doing this thing. I also follow this guy who like goes like mining for like crystals and stuff, but he's like this like weird oaky guy, and like I don't know, he's just like I feel like I'm friends with him, and like my life is so much better for the fact that these people are in my life and they don't even know I exist.
Right.
So I like that, and I like the ability to look at like things, like to be able to consume like imagery like very quickly. But I hate like people trying to do it right. There are people that inherently can do social media well, like, and I'm friends with a lot of people that have millions of followers, and good for them. And then there's also like the suspect few where it's like you look at their page and you're like, you're doing everything right and you have 1,000 followers. People can smell a rat. People can always like smell like you're a fucking sociopath, and there's a reason why people won't follow you, because like people, like dogs can smell evil, so can people. And like, you know, I'm sure you've seen people and you're like, you were doing everything. You're at every Instagrammable place. You've got all the bracelets. You've got all the like lattes. You're like, you've got wearing the brands. You're like, and you have 1,000 followers. Like, don't you feel empty? You know? And in LA, it's like even kind of worse when it's like, you only have 10,000 followers. I'm like, and you're trying so hard at this. Like, that must feel awful. Like, I don't know. I don't try at all. Like,
that sounds...
I kind of stopped doing it.
Horrible,
like,
too. I mean, for somebody. I mean...
Yeah. The guy that... I mean, I hate having my photo taken. So it's like... The guy that cuts my hair, like... I mean, I spend a lot of money on my hair. Because, like, I've always been somebody who's, like... I change my hair all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like... I like doing that. It's just been, like, a form of expression. But he's always like, hey, take a photo of me so I can post it. And I'm like... No. It took a lot for me to get there where I'm like, I'm such a no to it. No, like... No, I'm not going to do that. I hate taking my photo. I hate... No.
I'm going to show you the portraits I took at the beginning.
No, please
don't.
You're
really gonna, I think you're really going to like them.
I hate photos.
Do you have any vices?
What's a vice?
Or anything that you lean on or like need when you're stressed or need to decompress. Doesn't necessarily have to be like some spices usually are bad. But
I don't have like any like bad habits like that. I mean, there are things that I could probably cut out of my life that like don't serve me as well as I think they serve me. You know, like I love whiskey. I love Japanese whiskey, and I love pizza, and the two of those go hand in hand. But I don't drink that often, and I don't eat pizza as much as I'd like to because it's not good for you. But it's funny because like, you know, I grew up in like in an environment where it's like, you know, when people are like, "What's your favorite food?" and they're like, give you something fancy you've never heard of, and you're like, I'm like, I like fucking Domino's pizza. And I indulge in that lately. Yeah, I like thin crust, and I want to dip it in ranch and marinara. I got no qualms with that anymore. That's part of me being an adult. Like, I like pizza a lot. And French fries. I always say like my vice is like salty, crispy fried things, and I don't get to eat them because I like struggle with like a dysmorphia like a motherfucker. So I don't get to indulge in the way that I want to, and I also like am suspect that like, when people are like these fitness idiots like eating pizza, and I was like, you spit that out, and you're empty inside for doing that. Like, fuck you.
And you're in LA where everyone is like very small or like aiming to be very
people
small.
Are fit as hell here. I go to Equinox and it's insane. Like, you just go in there and you're like, how are you this wealthy and look like that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
People are crazy. And like wearing
like depress me a lot. If I always saw that, I'd be like,
my yoga practice lately, like it grew out of like recognizing like something that going into like the weights area was unhealthy for me. Like I was I was like, what am I doing here? Like, why? Like, I hate all these people. I hate what it does to me. It's my mentality. Like, I get super fucking on myself, and then like I'll like spend my gym hour and a half just like tearing myself to pieces. And like overall, like I'm in great shape. Like, you know, I'm relatively like attractive, and go into Equinox and I'm like a disgusting cow, and like it's like, so I was like, I can't be in here anymore. Doing yoga was like the best switch for me. Yeah.
Okay. What is the most challenging thing you've gone through?
Most challenging thing I've gone through. Growing up, I don't know. Moving to North Carolina was like the worst thing ever. I went from like not having a care in the world to like crying myself to sleep, like having suicidal thoughts at like the age.
What part of North Carolina are you in?
We lived like, so my parents are wonderful people, and where I'm from, like, and also my parents are like of a certain age where like you go to like you just go to the school that is assigned to you. You go to the public school, which is great. We moved to Chapel Hill, and then we built a house outside of Chapel Hill, and my parents never looked up where the school lines were. And so rather than going to like the nice school that was right nearby, we were on the wrong side of the school line. So I was bused 2 hours to Pittsboro, which is like, it was a 2-hour bus ride to school and a 2-hour bus ride home. But that's just, you know, my parents were like, tough shit, like get on the bus. Like you just take the bus to school, and we were the first stop and then the last stop. So like the first stop in the morning, we were the first picked up, and then like, so it was 2 hours of an agonizing like, you know, bus ride where I was just like taunted, and I just remember like standing in like the driveway of the house. It just like, I would like, and just like honestly, I'd like having suicidal thoughts at like in 5th grade. Like, what if I just killed myself? Like, then I wouldn't have to go to school. Then I wouldn't have to do this anymore. And I remember just like going down to my mom's room, just crying, like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to live here. Like, this isn't right. There's like, it was like an honest to God, like reality of like, this is wrong and shouldn't be happening to me. Why is this happening? My parents moved us back. Like it ended up working itself out.
How long were you there for?
Like 3 years.
Oh, okay. So they like moved right back. Like,
yeah.
right.
So it just, I mean, everybody was miserable, but I was the most vocal about it. I was just like picked on, and like, even like by the kids that like were supposed to be my peers. You know, it was like, that definitely, I was a white minority, in the school, and certainly like the only like super gay kid. But I just remember like being at this party, like where it was this girl's 11th birthday. We're at like her like rich, like they had like all this land, and like it was all manicured, and they had a trampoline and a pond and all this. And I just remember like standing there with like the group of like these kids, and they're like, one of them was like, "We don't like you, like why are you here?" And just like being so picked on. And then he picked up a pogo stick and like swung it at me like a baseball bat, and it like barely missed my face. And I was just like, what am I doing? Like I have no one. I like nowhere safe. I don't like what do you do at that point?
Oh my god.
So I was just like, and I just remember like standing, I was like breaking the yard or something. I was like looking, I was like, well, I could like tie my hands behind my back and like put a bag over my head. I don't know. I was like such a fucking dark thing to be thinking about. And it came out like of like a desperation.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't know what to do here. And you know, the human being who I am today, I've always known, and it was like it's more of that story of like that those kind of moments is what forged this human being who like my work ethic is insane, like, and I have more grit than anyone I know. Like I can withstand more than my fair share, and you know that's a survival technique. You know, I was like, okay, so if my way out is straight A's, then I'll do that. So I mean, there's a marked difference in like my like educational record of like not getting into the program, and then the next semester or whatever being 100% across the board in everything. And then like, you know, like I'm still like a local legend in my high school. Like I walked in because my niece was going there, and they're like, oh, this is Nathan Carden. He graduated with more credits than anyone has ever done. Like I graduated with almost double what you needed, because I was just like, oh, there's more school to be done. There's more things, more awards I can get. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Which is exhausting. And like, you know, I'm 30 years old, but was like, oh, it's not, this isn't real. It's quite
I worked so hard.
No, I mean, it's like no one cares, and
right.
B, it's just been nice to like not have to like be in that paradigm anymore.
What do you need to heal?
I need it to be alone to heal. I require alone time, big time. Moving in, so my boyfriend and I live in this house, and we've lived here since April, so 6 months. And I lived alone for 11 years, and like I retreat. Like when I need to lick my wounds, I need to be alone and recharge. Like so that's it. I need to be alone.
So since you live with him, would he just like go in the other room, or would you?
Luckily, we do have another room.
Okay.
I mean, like that. There are other ways to be alone in plain sight around here. LA is tough because there's so many fucking people all the time. But I know some trails that like people don't go on, so I go hiking by myself. I just like need to be like with my thoughts. I have a scooter. It's like a motorcycle. And I will just go ride. Just like go like just be alone. Like I just need to like not see people. People need to not see me. Like if I could be alone in the house, that's one thing. That like, you know, with respect to my relationship, I don't force him out. But you know, but it is like a godsend having another room where it's like, listen, I'm just gonna be in there. Don't come in.
Right.
And he's like,
closing the door. This is a boundary.
Like, that's okay.
Okay. What is the hardest conversation you've ever had to have?
The hardest conversation I've ever had to have.
We had a conversation that you knew had to happen, and you were like dreading it, and it was like so hard. I mean, you're in Aries, so you might just spit everything out.
Oh, I got one. So I have a best friend. We've been best friends since college. We met like this summer after freshman year, and we've been best friends ever since. But there were 2 periods of time when we didn't speak. And that was like, one was my fault for sure. Like most gay men, when we became friends, we were also lovers, which just happens. Like you fuck all your friends and then realize that you're better friends than lovers, and then you just stay friends. So that's normal, at least to me. I've had sex with most of my friends, so it's fine. But that's how we became friends. Like we like tried to date, and then you know I was like 19 years old, and like the sun like rises and sets on my best friend. He can do no wrong. He's an incredible human being. He's gorgeous. He comes from like a moderate amount of money. Like he just like he was the representation of a life that like of what should have happened to me. You know, like he's just like had everything. And on like in that realm, like we are like, and for anyone who's like ever met us, like they're like, how come you're not dating Andrew? It's like, because we're not. But I didn't have the confidence to like to say that, you know, because like he was the hottest guy on campus and he was my best friend and he was obsessed with me, you know, like he was in love with me for all of college. And so he had to do what he needed to do my sophomore year, and he stopped speaking to me for about 6 months. And then we had a plan when we were speaking that we were going to travel abroad and we were going to backpack through Europe together, and then we were going to like study abroad in England. And my tickets had already been spent, and I don't come from money, so I was like, I have these tickets, I'm going. Like it's not something I can just waste and just not go because I don't like you anymore or whatever. Right. So I went backpacking by myself. I saw him on the first day of our program, and it was like water under the bridge. Like we were best friends again in England, and like had an incredible time. Mm-hmm. And he shared with me he was now in a relationship and all these things were happening, and that's great. And then we got back to school in January after being abroad for a summer or for a semester, and he didn't speak to me again, like at all, like ever. So for like another 6 months, and that was the most like, it was the most insane time I think I've ever felt. It was like very, very dark. Luckily, I wasn't like had become an artist at that point in time, so I like threw it into my work and like. But it's like, I mean, my journals from that time are like fucking dark, because it's crazy. Like that someone.
It's like why though? Like that's so wow.
I'll get to the like how, like, you know, obviously it's been repaired, but right. I saw him at a party that summer after him not speaking to me for another 6 months on a balcony, and he was like, hey, and he like went to shake my hand, and I was like, you motherfucker, like how dare you like shake my hand, and right. Like, and then we spoke for about 7 hours that night, and it was the toughest conversation because I was like, I mean, I was fucking like, it was like as if someone had pulled my heart away. Yeah. Because like I'd already gone through it, and like my feeling was like, holy shit, this is happening again. So it was like, and I was like, you know, 20 years old. I was like just out of control, but I was just shaking, and I was like what the fuck? And I was like, we need to talk. Yeah. So we went to my apartment, and we just sat on the couch, and we hashed it out for about 7 hours. And it was like, and everything that needed to be said was said, and like it was like everything got complete in that conversation. And like it was like, okay, like, and I got the whole world of it. Like he was in a relationship with this guy that like who hated the idea of me, knew that he had like that I was like competition or whatever, and my best friend had to make a very difficult choice, either like his relationship, which at the time, you know, he was 20 years old, and you do stupid shit like that, you like cut people out of your life for relationships or whatever. And it like, and I got the toll on him. Like I got it from his perspective, and like, and we got it complete. But it was like, it was a tough conversation because I hate being vulnerable. And I was crying in front of him, and like was like how could you have done that to me? Like you fucking destroyed my life. I mean, I was like, there were some dark times for me. Really moody art times too.
Share an embarrassing moment.
Ugh. So remember when I lived in North Carolina? So, my parents. So I never got anything. Like if I wanted something, I had to earn it myself. And I really wanted a TV in my room because like you're like in 5th grade and like a TV in your room sounds cool. Yeah. And I like really wanted that. My parents were like, absolutely not. So I like began to like mow lawns, which was embarrassing because I was like working, you know, like I've always had this thing where like I'm a show pony, like forced to be a workhorse. Like I'm like very much like a Cinderella story. I was like, this isn't supposed to be happening to me. You know, like when like I've literally been like waiting like my whole life. Like that's why I love indie movies. Like I love Harry Potter. It's like, oh, I get a letter like that. This isn't my life. I have this life. Great. Or like, you know, Princess Diaries or whatever. Like, but that never happened to me. Like, I just had to fight for it. Anyway, so my sister, by the way, like had like every opportunity. So like her experience in North Carolina was like, she was super popular. She was like a model at the Limited 2. Like everybody loved her. She was like, she was the most and I was the least. And it was such a fucked up like existence, because I like at that point in time I hated my sister and we're very close in age. But I was like, how is like her experience was like perfectly lovely, and I like want to kill myself. So my sister like had an appointment at the Limited for like to like get dressed. They were gonna give her all these free clothes, and then she would like to like stand in front of it and like model or whatever. And I didn't want to go do that because I was like A, enormously jealous, and B, like didn't feel like doing that. So my mom said that I could like hang out at the court, where there's like this big fountain. And mind you, I wanted a TV, and there I am standing at the fountain, and I'm looking at like all the like all these quarters in the fountain, like on an upper. There was like a 2-tier thing, and so I was like, I could just like lean over and take the quarters out. So I was doing that. I'm like literally stealing from a fountain, which is fucked up. And my foot slipped out, and I literally like I was like, because I was leaning, and like my foot slipped, and I like belly flopped into the fountain at the mall. And I was like, and as I'm like pulling myself out, like fully head to toe, like was dunked, soaked. Pull up my sister and her little friends and my mom, like walk up on my mom's face. I just remember her being like, "What the fuck have you done?"
And you just have all these quarters, like.
So my mom so my mom like takes the quarters, throws them back in the fountain, like drags us out, and then like we had just bought a new car, and I didn't realize. I know this now that like it was a big deal that my mom got a new car, and like that my family couldn't afford it and whatever, and like and so she like, and I'm soaking wet in like a brand new car, and my mom's never had a new car, and like my mom makes me strip down and ride home naked, but also wet, because like she didn't want my clothes getting the seats all wet, and I was just like so embarrassed.
Oh my
just like
God.
Dying inside, like I hate this, I can't do anything right.
Did you ever get your TV in your room?
Oh, I got it, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as long as you...
I mean, I mowed 1 million lawns for that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What don't you want to tell people but know you should share because it'll help someone else?
I don't know. I'm an Aries. I'm a pretty open book.
What's something you wish people talked about more that they don't? Like, so sometimes... there may not be something that you don't necessarily want to share, but something where if someone started talking about it, you're like, what? Okay. Like, yeah, like, let's talk more about this. Nobody talks about this.
Well, there's, like, 2 things. One would be, like, what it actually takes to have, like, a perfect body. You know, like, I want to know, because I'm always so suspect. I'm like, what are you eating? Or, like, what are you taking? Because I want to know, like, because the thing, it's like especially around here, I'm like, what did you do to your face? What, like, where do you go to the dentist? Like, I want to know it all, like, what your process is, and like, because, you know, it's like the more money you spend, the less you can actually tell. But like, I work with big time celebrities all the time, like, where I'm like, how on earth do you have that body? And like, and yes, like sometimes, especially with celebrities, it's genetics. There are people that can eat whatever the fuck they want, and they just have perfect skin and perfect bodies and whatever. And it's an anomaly, given like the actual vastness of how many, you can't even fathom 7.8 billion. Like, that is an insane amount of people. Yeah. And this is like one dude. But I want to know. So like I want people to talk about like what they're actually doing, and not like gleaning over it of like, oh, I like do this like butt exercise. No, you don't. Fuck you. Like. Don't kid a kidder. Like, I'm smarter than that, and that's the curse of me. It's like, there's that. Yeah. The other thing I wish people spoke openly about was like actual, like, the reality of like people in successful relationships, what their actual sex life looks like. Because I'm sick of the fucking pressure that I'm supposed to be fucking like a porn star all the time when I've got a whole real life out there. Yeah. Like a real life with real stresses and things to think about, and like, there's an expectation because I'm in a relationship that I'm supposed to be like, if you're not having sex twice a week, like, what? No, I'm not. Like, it's not like I'm not a horny person. Yeah. But like, I think that's got to be abolished, and people need to speak openly about like the realities of a sex life. Right. Like, people do not have sex all the time. Like, I think like the real range is like people have sex like once a month, if that. Wow. If that.
2 more questions.
Okay.
What's missing?
What's missing? The presence of which would make a real difference for me. Um, I lead introductions at Landmark, and that's like a line. It's like when you're looking for what's missing, the presence of which would make a real difference. Do you mean like a real thing or like a way of being?
However you want to look at that question, because some people have looked at it like what's missing in the world and then what's missing in their life, and then like however you want to answer that, you're allowed to answer it.
Okay. What is missing? I think what's missing in the world would be compassion. Like people's ability to take themselves out of their own experience and like think about like the needs of others. Mm-hmm. Like whether it's like, hey, like don't be an asshole to your kid. Like maybe your kid doesn't like that, or like that person looks hungry. How could I help?
Right.
Like you know, just like being like compassionate in a way that like has people be outside of their own self, you know, like pull their head out of their ass would be nice, you know, like that's certainly what's wrong with our president. Like he thinks his own reality is reality, and it's like that, and that's fucking dangerous. Like when people are like, whoa, like you really believe what you're saying is to be true. That's scary. Like I don't know, I think that and like I think like the other part of it that what I think is like missing is I guess it would be like abundance, I guess. Like as a way of being. Like there is more than enough resources to take care of everyone. There's more than enough of everything, and people have more than enough inside of themselves to get something done. Like there's a lot of helplessness and scarcity, which I think is like the root of a lot of evil. You know, when people think that they don't have enough, which like has people not giving what they could part with. Yeah. You know, it's like, and like, but then also inside of themselves of like knowing like, I don't need this. Like I have enough. I am abundant. Right. So it's like I think that in that like that could lead to like the abolishment of like scarcity, which I think is a really dangerous thing. You know, everyone could have everything and more. Yes. But unfortunately, we've got like 3 individuals sitting on like more wealth than 40% of Americans or something. Yeah. I just read those numbers and I was like, I'm terrified. Yeah. Tax the wealthy. Right. Because they don't pay taxes. They don't pay taxes. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. I can't even think about that right now. It's insane. That caused like a whole other spiel. Yeah. Okay, last question. All the electricity goes out and just like the computer screens, the phone screens, the TV screens, like they still work, but it's like PSA, public service announcement, and then your face. Like just you, and the whole world can see you, but like everything else is like out. Okay. So like what are you gonna say? To the world? To the world in that instant. That's a big question. What would I say to the world if I had everyone's ear? Mm-hmm. And there's like nothing else going on. I mean, unless they start like freaking out, but it's not like they could be on Instagram or something like that to listen to you because you're on every screen. Oh my god. What do other people say? It varies. Yeah. Some people are just like, love each other, and then other people are like, loot, right? Yeah. Survive, like. Get yours. You know, yeah, so people just like randomly start like dancing, like, I don't know what's happening, it'll be okay. Like. I mean, if all the electricity went out and then all of a sudden my face was on every screen, I think that I would be like, I would do like a funny, not even a funny, but I would do like, I would just like be like, okay, like now that I have your attention, I'm like, go outside. Stop whatever you're doing and go outside. So like we've got everyone like kind of like going outside, whether it's like the middle of the night or whatever. And I'd be like, find someone you don't know and introduce yourself. And I want you to share one thing you love about your life. And then ask them, what do you love about your life? And I think that would be like a pretty cool. Like everyone's like, what? Like, okay, like I'll do that. I always love it in yoga when it's like, introduce yourself to someone you don't know. And you're like, everyone's always like, fuck, like I don't want to do that.
And when it's Dr. Stranger.
I know, but then you like say hi, and then it's like by the end of it, you're like, you got a buddy. And like, I don't know. I just think that like, I don't know. It would just be such a weird, fun environment, and like, and whether or not to like do the lights turn back on.
Yeah, like it's not an apocalyptic situation. It's
Okay.
just like you have everyone's attention, then they kind of have to pay attention to you because you're the only stimulating thing going on.
I wonder if people would do it. Probably.
I feel like a lot of people would.
People like to take direction.
Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
This was amazing.
Fun. I hate my foot.
I wanted to see. You have to show everyone. Explain your. I like it.
I was like drawing some amethyst.
Okay.
Sort of, but then it turned orange, and it's like in a lagoon.
So it's like some ametrine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like alexandrite. You know how it changes colors in different.
Yeah.
I don't know if it changes orange and gray.
Yeah.
It's just a crystal. And then I was drawing like a bonsai tree.
Okay.
And it's the sun's going down, but the fog's rolling in. I don't know.
Which is your favorite?
It's like my perfect day.
Yeah. Can you sign it?
Yeah.
And date it? It's the 18th.
Well, this is Nathan in the flesh.